and how you can learn about solar. That's the Genesis Solar Academy, what we do majorly. So these are all what we do. So let's start today's, the reason why we are here, let me say that. The reason why we are here is to learn about the Luxpower SNA 12 kilowatt inverter. And also, like I said, we'll be discussing about the key features that drive its performance. While I welcome my engineer in charge, that's the facilitator for today, Engineer Kunle Olorunkoya. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, sir.
Without wasting much time, we are going straight into the business. We are treating details about this Luxpower SNA 12K inverter. I know maybe wondering what's so special about this inverter. What's so special? Is it the name? What we want to know? Why it is important for somebody to say, okay, this is the inverter I want to buy. There is a lot of inverters out there, but then they have different features. But we have some special features inside here, and that's what we want people out there to know. Thank you. So the Luxpower SNA 12K is a single-phase inverter designed for high power demands and to ensure reliable energy supply. The inverter features an all-in-one design with breakers, eliminating the needs for additional components and helping to reduce installation time and costs. Luxpower has a 12K specification. The first one is the rated power of 12,000 VA, and it is 12,000 watts, which is 12 kilowatts. So the power factor is just 1. So you can see it written as 12 kVA, which is the same thing as 12 kilowatts. The next one is 2 MPPT tracker. That's what it has in it. And the 2 combined together can process 24,000 watts, which is 24 kilowatts. So which means each MPPT is 12,000 watts. Now, the next one is 2 PV strings per MPPT input. You know, we said we have 2 MPPT. So each of them now have 2 inputs where you can have 2 strings of solar panels for each of this MPPT. Maximum solar input current is 35 amps per MPPT. So that's why you see 35 amps and 35 amps. That's each MPPT is 35 amps. But maximum PV short circuit current input per MPPT is 44 amps. That's talking about the short circuit current rating of the panel. You know, naturally the panel, the current should be higher than the current rating of the MPPT itself, where it operates, so that you can capture enough energy. That's just the reason for that. So, because it's not, you know, when you have 1,000 watt panel, you cannot get 1,000 watts always from it. So that's the reason why they gave that allowance, so that you can accommodate a lot of panels and then deliver up to the specified capacity. PV input voltage range is between 100 volts DC to 480 volts DC. You know why? The 100 volts is just to wake up. That's when the MPPT wake up and come up that, oh, I've seen signal from solar panels. But you know, at that point, you cannot really deliver any power to the box. Then I'll say the next one is MPPT voltage range. That's the range of operation where it will begin to deliver power. And within that range is between 120 volts and 385 volts DC. And in bracket, you can see it starts, the start up voltage is 100. If the voltage is below 100, it's not going to see it. And if it's seeing it, it's not going to wake up. It cannot do anything with it. It must go above 100. So if you're sizing, you don't size according to 100 volts alone. It has to go far beyond. The higher you go within the range, the better the performance of the MPPT. Maximum charging and discharging current of the inverter is 250 amps. You can see this is massive, 250 amps, which means you can take this current from the batteries, and you can also push, when you want to charge, you can push as much as 250 amps into the batteries if you have a battery bank that can take it. Then the maximum charging and discharging power is 12,000 watts. So we can see a picture of how it looks like from the sideways, from the front, that's both sides and front. You can see from the side, there is we have the cooling fans, and then you have the PV switch, and then you have the power on off of the inverter. That's where the power button is. So when you want to switch on the inverter, when after completed the installation, that's where the switch is to power on. Then in front, you can see the display, LCD display. So you can see all the buttons within that display where you set up the parameters inside according to the size of the system you have on site. So maybe you have 3 batteries, and then you know your 3 batteries will take so amount of current. You program it there. If it is lithium ion, that's where you program it, because the system is compatible with both lithium ion and other batteries. So function buttons, those are the function buttons. Then the battery breaker, you can see it in front there. And then you can also see the generator terminals, because it's having inputs, it's having 2 inputs from AC input. One is from generator and the other one is from the national grid. So it now depends on which one you want to use, or you want to use the 2. You see the inverter can manage the 2. That's what they're saying. Then you see the load terminal, and for the load terminals too, there are 2. The inverter has 2 outputs. One is smart load, while the other one is just normal load. You know, one is you can time it, you can program it that, okay, once the battery is going low, shut down this one. That's not so important at that time. And the inverter will do that and leave the priority load on. So you can see the nets for the cooling system. So the fan will extract while the fresh air will go in through the nets you are seeing. So you can see at that side too, where you would slot in the Wi-Fi or GPRS dongle, the Wi-Fi module, because the inverter supports remote monitoring. So that's just a quick overview of the physical feature. Now, key feature of this Luxpower SNA 12K inverter. The first one is dual AC output ports for multiple loads connection. Just like I briefed us, you have two outputs. You have two outputs, you have priority, and you have the other. So you can decide that, okay, I want my AC to work from so time. And at another time, the AC should go off while the most important loads will remain on. So that's the essence of the two outputs. So that you don't need to worry yourself. The inverter will manage that once you program it well to do that for you. Then there is a separate input for generator. So which makes the inverter to function like automatic transfer system, ATS. So once you wire your grid into the grid input and you wire your generator into the generator input, is the one that does the selection according to the program you give it. Okay, once there is no grid, please to switch on generator, or once there is no grid, wait, let my battery be running. Once my battery gets to so, okay, you can now start the generator or allow only solar. So all those programs are inside. It is you that will instruct by programming the parameters to say, okay, this is the way I want you to manage the entire system for me. So integrated design with load and battery breaker. You can see the breaker in front. So you don't need to buy extra breaker, most especially when you have a lot of batteries connected to the inverter. The inverter has come with its own battery breaker. You don't need it. You understand? I believe we understand this because components are also expensive. They come with their own cost. If you are looking for a good quality component, it is expensive. And this one has come with its own quality, good quality component on its body. So it has reduced cost that way. And the installation will be faster because you don't now need to carry a screwdriver and you want to screw one breaker on the wall or anything. It's already on the body. So it can work with or without battery. So the inverter is a batteryless type. So if you connect battery, it will work. If you don't connect battery, once you have input from either solar or generator or national grid, it's going to give you output. Output that is fine-tuned, that is refined, that is regulated. So because the application now, it means that some people in a company, they just want to run only solar and their generator, and that's all. They may not need battery during the day. And because it's an office environment, they don't, once everything goes down, they shut down their generator. When they close, the solar will also go up. Everything goes up. The next day, operation starts. So it's only when they need storage to back up some certain things, that's when you can also, okay, let's buy battery and put. So the system on its own will work perfectly without any concern. So PV or AC or generator wake up. This is a special function. We have issues with batteries, the lithium batteries, that when they go too low, they shut down. That's the way they design them. It's a protective function inside the lithium-ion batteries. But then, when they do that, if an inverter does not have this feature, it cannot wake up. You need to now carry the battery to the supplier or get a battery booster to come and boost the battery before it will wake up again. But this inverter has come with that feature of waking up the battery by itself. Once there is grid or the solar is connected, it's going to sense that there is battery connected, but it has switched off, and it's going to wake it up and commence the charging. So it's a very interesting feature. Now, it supports parallel operation up to about 16 units, meaning that you can connect 16 inverters to function as one. You can imagine when you have 16 times 12 kilowatts on a single line, and you can use it to configure 3-phase as well. If you have 3-phase synchronous machine, you can connect them together to power the 3-phase. So the operations and features are so flexible. Now it supports CAN RS485 for lithium-ion batteries, BMS communication. Some batteries don't have communication port. Some have. For those that have it, the port is already there on the inverter. Just connect and program it to link them up to make them communicate. It makes life a lot more easier because you'll be able to effectively use the battery to its maximum recommended capacity. So then it supports Wi-Fi or GPRS, that's remote monitoring. For the operation of the system, you don't need to be going around or go travel to where the inverter is. Anywhere all over the world where there is internet, once the system is connected for remote monitoring, you just go through your phone or through your system, internet system, and you see what's going on. The generated power, the current, the load, so what's going on, is it off? What's the status? What's happening? If there's a fault, you see it, what has caused it, when did it stop, time, and everything. All the details that you need will be provided through the internet to you. Then the weight is just 40 kg. Now let's look at the robust safety features. Protection and reliability. The first one is short circuit protection, which prevents the system from damage from unexpected electrical shorts. Then the next one is overload or overcurrent protection. This protects the inverter from excessive load condition, because in most cases, people just plug something unexpected, or there's a short circuit, maybe there's a fault. The inverter should not get damaged because of that. It will only just give a notification there's a problem and it will shut down. Once the problem is removed, the inverter continues to work. So then the surge protection. This guards the system against damaging voltage spikes and surges. Then PV reverse polarity. Some of these smart inverters that are not equipped with these protections, once you reverse PV, they get damaged straight away. But this has it as is inbuilt protection. So although it's not a good practice to be unconscious to reverse polarity of whatever you are doing, because anybody operating in this industry should be sensitive enough. You know, if you make mistake, you can damage things, and once it's damaged, then it prolongs a lot of things and causes a lot of problems. So it will cause waste of money, waste of time, and all. So we need to be careful when handling installation. Then it has a battery reverse polarity protection DC switch. So once the battery system is, we still need to be careful to avoid such. We can see a picture of the remote monitoring firmware and firmware updates. This is just talking about the remote monitoring app, and the app name is Luxpower. You can download from your Play Store. And then if you don't want to go through that route, you still want to monitor through the internet, through the website, it's available on Google. The app is available on Google Play Store, while through the this website is server luxpower.com. So you can also monitor the system. server.luxpowertech.com. So that's the website. Then competitive advantages. Why choose the Luxpower SNA 12K inverter? I know that's the question. Why? What's special about this? Why do I need to choose this? When you are doing your survey, market survey, and so why do I need to choose this? Integrated breaker is on the body. Now has the output breaker and battery breaker on the body. Saves cost and time on installation. As simple as that. Robust safety features. Built-in protections deliver peace of mind. When you know that you are guaranteed of the protections of the device or the equipment you are using, you'll be confident to recommend it. You'll be confident to always want to use it because it's reliable. High PV capacity, power loads, and charge batteries effectively. This means, you know, the capacity of the inverter is 12 kilowatts, but the solar capacity is 24 kilowatts. That tells you that you can put a lot of battery in place for night use, and then during the day, you can still acquire or source for a lot of energy from solar panels. So provided you have the space to put all of them. Then the next one is PV AC generator wake up, like I explained briefly before. Once you have a lithium-ion battery that has disconnected automatically due to over discharge, then this inverter will sense it and wake it up. So it's a very important feature. Now, question and answer section. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Are we supposed to write our questions or ask?
You can ask, and at the same time, for people, because of time, some people can write it, we'll still treat it.
Okay, my name is Chris. My question is on two questions, really. The first one is the paralleling. You said it can take 16 units, you know, if you need a more output power. What happens if one of the inverters is faulty? Does it bring down everything? If you have, let's say, 10 and one goes down, will that one that goes down pull down the whole supply, or it will isolate based on what is connected to it? That's one. Then I'm still not very clear on the capacity being double the rating. You know, you said something like that, 2 by 12,000. Maybe you can shed more light on that so that we can appreciate that feature very well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. And the first question is whether the system will crash or go down or go off when one out of all inverters connected together is faulty. Yeah, it's not going to shut down. Even if one is faulty and it causes others to shut down for any reason, that faulty one, since it's the only one that is faulty, can be isolated. You can just shut it down while the rest will work. What that can cause is it could lead to a reduced load capacity now. Because if you have, for instance, now you connected 3 on a single phase, and that's 12 times 3, that's 36 kilowatts, and then one fails, you now have 24 kilowatts. That means one is out of it. Your load has to be reduced from that maximum so that what is remaining, you will be able to manage it. It's not that everything will shut down. And in case you have connected in 3-phase, that is when it won't work. If you have connected in 3-phase and you just have just one set of inverters, like you have inverter 1, inverter 2, inverter 3, and it's connected to generate synchronous 3-phase output. If one fails, the rest will follow. It doesn't mean that the rest are damaged, but because the system is a 3-phase system, it cannot work with 2. Because in a 3-phase system, you have line 1, line 2, line 3, and 1 now is out of it, and it has to be synchronous. So because of that, the system will have to shut down. When you restore that other one, then you can now bring the system back. But if you have 6 inverters connected for 3-phase, which means two inverters on 1 phase, and is still synchronous, if one of them on a phase is faulty, the remaining one can still make the system run. It's just that the load on that phase has to be reduced so that the system can function well on that synchronous. Other phases can power their maximum load, while that one with 40 inverter will only power what is capacity. If you reduce the load, the system will be running. That's on the question 1. Then the second question is about the capacity of solar that the inverter can process, being double the capacity of the inverter. Yes, we all know that when you have solar panels, they don't give you the 100% capacity of their rating. For instance, you have 100-watt panel. You cannot be getting 100-watt panel. So there are some other conditions, some other factors that will even affect it. Dust will later come in, weather, the weather conditions will later come in, and then that 100 watts will reduce drastically below even 50%. So that's that. But in this case now, we are saying the inverter can accommodate a lot of panels to deliver 24 kilowatts. You know that the inverter cannot deliver 24 kilowatts into the load. It is just 12 kilowatts. But it can process 24 kilowatts, send 12 kilowatts to the battery, and send 12 kilowatts to the load if you're able to generate up to that. The inverter has the input to accommodate the number of panels that can make that can deliver that power. So it's important to now utilize that. Maybe you just have one inverter and then you have a lot of batteries. Then you have your load that is high too. Then you are good to go, because most inverters out there, you see a 10 kilowatt inverter. Maybe the solar capacity is just 10 kilowatts like that. That 10 kilowatts will now be shared between the battery and the load. So if you want more load capacity, you cannot, because if your load is more than 5 kilowatts, for instance, you are generating 10 kilowatts and your load is about 5 kilowatts. That means it's just 5 kilowatts that will be going to your battery. So it will give a kind of limitation, but this now has given room for expansion. And then only one inverter can do a lot, can deliver that power. That's what that feature means. Thank you. I think that answered your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Engineer. Thank you for that. Please, if you are going to be asking question, I'd love you use the raise hand emoji. You can raise the hand so that we'll know that you want to ask question. We have so many questions in the chat section. We are still going to attend to that, or we treat it one after the other. I can see hands up from FSD. FSD. If you are here, if you can hear me, please, you can ask your question.
Morning. So I want to ask, looking at the integrated breaker, you see that when doing the installation, you see that I don't need to buy breakers. And that's my first question. The number two question is, there are some, you talked about doing mistake, and it can lead to loss of time, loss of money. So just for me now as a beginner, what are the precautions that we can take note of during installation? Thank you.
Okay,
So please, can you
thank
hear
you
the
very
question?
much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
got the question. Yeah. The first one is whether you need breakers at all, in addition to what it has. What the inverter has on the body is the battery breaker and the output breaker, which is the load breaker. For those two breakers, you don't need external. You don't need to install external. You don't need additional battery breaker. You don't need additional output breaker. It's already in the inverter. So that's out of your cost. But you may need additional breaker for inputs, because the inverter can take solar as input, so you need a solar breaker separately. Although on the body there is a solar switch, but you still need, for maintenance and other reasons, you need a circuit breaker for solar separately. Then you need breakers for generator input. If you are connecting your input to generator input, then you for grid too, you need breaker. So that's for the breakers. For precautions, there is a lot of precautions that are general and some that are specific to a particular product. So that's why there is user manual to digest. There are general precautions like, okay, before you do commissioning, make sure you have tested all the sides, you connected your battery polarity. All these are general, but then you still go through the manufacturer's user manual for details. Like for connection of inverters in 3-phase now, there are ways. When you want to use it as a batteryless, every detail is there. So you need to digest the manual even before you go to that. That's why we have soft copy. You request for soft copy, it will be shared with you. Then you can go through it and see, oh, this one, this is what you can ask questions and be sure of what you want to buy, to avoid damage or waste of time and money. I think I've answered that question. Okay, there's another question asking about what's the maximum amount of battery that the inverter can accommodate. We said the charging power, the charging current is 250 amps. So whatever size of battery that is within that capacity, because all batteries have their charging capacity, the recommendation and from the manufacturer. Okay, for instance, a 200 amp hour battery, normally ordinary battery is required to be charged with 10 amps or 20 amps, depending on whether it's C10 or C20, depending on. So follow recommendation. So that's, you now divide it by the charging current there. So, and then if you are not capable of using the whole charging current, is not a problem. For instance, maybe you just want to use 2 batteries. You program the inverter to the capacity that can charge 2 batteries. But in terms of the maximum, you must not exceed, there's no way you can exceed 250 amps for the charging capacity. So you should not even go operate at the maximum. So slightly lesser than that is okay in case you have a bigger bank. If it's going to be more than that, you may need to get another inverter or additional charger, depending on the design. I think that answers that question.
Thank you, Engineer Kunle. So there is another question there that said, you said power factor is 1. Is it at bulb load or inductive load or any loads? Can the inverter power pressing iron?
Yeah, I got that question. It's a feature for the inverter itself, which means whether you are powering inductive or capacitive or resistive load, the manufacturers has done it such that there won't be a side effect. It does not affect the power capacity. So that's why it's one. So whether you put inductive, maybe pump, all those inductive loads, it will still work effectively, and that's the power. It will deliver the power in real time. So no negative effect as per that. Because you know that in some inverters now, they will put 5 kVA, and then the kilowatts will now be lower, like 4 kilowatts. This one will still deliver its own 12 kilowatts. So you can rely on it measuring your output in kilowatts without any stress. Then the second one, whether it can power pressing iron. Yes, can power pressing iron, heating elements, power different loads. Whatever your grid can power, your national grid or your bigger generator can power, this one can also power it. It depends on the capacity you put in place. If your capacity is just 12 kilowatt, you cannot, if you want to power a load that is 24 kilowatt, obviously it's overload, it's going to shut down. So if you must power a 24 kilowatt load, you must put in place more than 24 kilowatt capacity of inverters. But in terms of the types of load, whether capacitive or resistive or inductive, the inverter is capable of powering them successfully.
Thank you, Engineer Kunle. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I hope that has answered your question, Mr. Abdulrazak. So we have another question from Mr. Matthew too. He says, what's the battery capacity of the inverter? That's the first question. And the second question capacity, is, okay, go ahead,
in
sir.
terms of voltage, the battery capacity in terms of voltage, that's the voltage now, battery voltage is 48. But if it's talking about the capacity of battery that you can put in place, I already explained that. The charging current is not more than 250 amps. So you cannot expect it to deliver more than that. So if your battery cannot be charged with that, maybe your battery will demand for that because the bank is bigger, then you need additional inverter in place. And for somebody to operate when one inverter can deliver 250, that means it's a big system. So if you now need more, that is a big system, then you need two, that which is about 500 amps, is huge. So if you look at how many batteries that will be, it's not a small battery. So I can't say specifically. It depends on, we have different capacities of battery. We have 100 amp hour, we have this and that. So it depends on which one you want to use. But the maximum current you can give is what is stated as 250. And you are always advised not to operate at that maximum. Just slightly lower than that is okay.
Thank you, Engineer Kunle. So he's saying again from Mr. Matthew, he said, please list the battery protection that comes with the inverter. That's like battery breaker, etc. So I think he's talking about the batteries in that inverter.
Well, the protection in terms of battery, when it is reversed, it's already stated that it's guaranteed, is there. Like I said, we should be very careful to avoid such a thing. So it's going to just shut down and not accept it once the polarity of battery is reversed and you subject the inverter to it. That's it. It's not that the inverter will get damaged. And once you correct it, you do everything, you power it off, it will come up. So that's it. I think that answers that question because.
Thank you, sir. So for the last question, it said, let's say I install the inverter without batteries, and my client wants to cut down their grid or gen dependence by installing PV. Can the inverter intelligently use PV alone to power the loads and only use the grid when the PV isn't adequate?
Exactly the reason why it is a smart inverter. It will do it perfectly. Priority number one is solar. Once solar is there. It's only when solar is not now enough to power your load that is now going to take from what is available. Since battery is not there, the next thing that is available is grid. It will now take from grid to support. But priority number one is the solar that is available.
Thank you, Engineer Kunle. So I have another question. It said, can we discuss price now? Okay, for pricing, we have our online shop. You can just check shop.genestechnologies.com. I'll type that immediately after this question and answer section. So you'll be able to check all our products. We have all our products and our prices there, so you'll be able to view. So the next question says, kindly share a link for the user manual. The link has been shared below. So you can just scroll down a little bit for you to see the user manual of that inverter. The lecture slide will be shared after the lecture. So you have that. It's going to be shared with you. Warranty, please. For warranty, do you mean the year of warranty, or is the inverter covered under warranty? All our inverters are on warranty. We have warranty for all our inverters. So if you are talking about if the inverter has warranty, it has, yes. So the next question says, you said the inverter has 2 outputs. Please explain further. Does that mean that each output is 6,000 watts? Engineer Kunle, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. On that warranty, I think we give 18 months. 18 months on the warranty. Then for the 2 outputs, it's not that the capacity of the inverter is divided into 2. No. It is a summation. If you have 1 kilowatt load on one output, the other output can take the rest of the capacity of the inverter, which is 11 kilowatts. If you have 6 kilowatt load on one output, the second output can take the rest. But it now depends on what the capacity of load you want to put. If you share your load, maybe your televisions, everything will be on the priority output. Your television, your lighting, and other little loads in the house, fans will be on the priority output. While on the other outputs that will shut down based on your instruction, could be heavy load, and you want them to shut down because you don't want to use your battery. Maybe you want AC to run between so time and so time, or the AC should be running once the solar is available, and then once the battery, everything is now using battery, and the battery gets to a particular level, it should shut down that output. The inverter will do that so that it will relieve. You want to reserve the remaining capacity inside the battery for night use and for the priority loads, like your television fans and other things. Why the AC will now be out of it. You don't need to go and be switching it off, going around to do that. You already connected all those loads on it. So that's the way it works.
Thank you, Engineer Kunle. So we have another question. He said, good morning. What's the surge capacity?
Okay, the surge capacity is ×2 the capacity of the inverter. The inverter is 12 kilowatts. Therefore, the surge capacity is 24 kilowatts.
All right, thank you, Engineer Kunle. So I have another question too. It said, I reside in a place of low voltage. Does the inverter have double conversion feature? Meaning, if my grid voltage is 170 volts, will it still output 230 volts in line mode?
Okay, I think I got that. Please note that the inverter is not an online system. It is online system that does that. This is line interactive. It's going to transfer what is at the input to the output. It's just monitoring, is it okay? Is it within the range? Is the frequency okay before accepting it? If it's wrong, it's not going to accept it. And whatever it accepts is what is going to push out. So that's the way it works. So if you have 180 volts, which is still within the normal range that can accept, it's going to accept it and push it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Kunle. So the last question I think I have, if we have anyone that still has any question to ask, please use the hands up emoji so we can know you want to ask your question. But the last question I have on the chat here is, when using the system without battery, how does the system power the loads when the irradiance from the sun fluctuates? Won't the power to the system be intermittent?
Okay, that's an intelligent question. I know that some people will be wondering how will it work during the day. The system is working fine. People are, this installation has been deployed and people are enjoying it. So the way it's going to work is putting in consideration that there will be fluctuation in solar irradiance. You will have, that's why you need a lot of panels for that. So when you have a lot, that even when the fluctuation is happening, your load is still within the range of the steady operation, it will run. For instance, now, the maximum capacity of solar it can accommodate is 24 kilowatts, and you just have 5 kilowatts on it. You understand? So unless if the solar is not generating anything, as long as it's generating well above that 5 kilowatts, it will continue to power that load. So when it's now going down, because in the evening, there's no way what is generating 10,000 watts during the day will not come and generate 0 watts in the night. So if you know that, then when in the evening, when the sun is going down, now consciously you need to be reducing your load, whether through a program like we mentioned that you should cut it off, or you have some external connections to it that okay, at so time you know that the solar capacity will have reduced, let all this load go off. That would be like automation. You can cut off those ones. So before it shuts down, but when it's going down, the output will tend to go down within a certain range before the system will shut down, that the solar is not enough. If there is no other alternative support, like maybe grid is now available, it will shut down, definitely.
I think that answers your question, Mr. Kelvin Chidera. So the last question here, I don't have anyone raising up his or her hands, so I'm going to take this as the final question to round up this session completely. So the last question says, how do you manage grid and gen terminals in case when the gen is on and the grid comes back? Oh, okay. I will take that after this, sir. So, Engineer Kunle, did you hear that? How do you manage grid and gen terminals in case where the gen is on and grid comes back?
Okay, the design is to connect all these inputs if you really want to use the full function, and if you have them available. So it is you that will program which one. So all of them can be available. Solar can be available, generator is available, and grid is available. But which one is priority? Solar. So the inverter can be given instruction to stop generator at that time, because you can't be running generator when your solar is enough to power your load. And you can't be taking power from grid, which you pay for, when you have a source of energy from the roof, which is free. So solar is priority number one, followed by which one you want. Is it your battery? Depends on the way you want it. Or is it grid, or is it generator? But when all of them are available, they can be connected without any issue. The inverter will manage that.
Thank you, engineer.
I'm not sure that question was well answered.
Okay.
You have prioritized. Sorry, I had to interject. You have done your priority. You have done your priorities, and there is no PV. EKEDC took light, and you put on your gen, and your gen is running. EKEDC brings back light. Will that EKEDC coming on shut down the gen? I think that was what the question was seeking to clarify. How will it, or the gen will continue to run, or will the grid, if grid is my priority number 2, will the grid shut down the generator that is running?
Okay, I understand you. That's why I said the inverter works like ATS, automatic transfer system. If your grid is back while your generator is working, because you are paying for grid, which one do you want? Okay, I want my generator to be running, or I want the grid to take over. It's you that will decide that. But if you have decided that the system will now accept the grid, if it's to accept the grid, that the priority, it will accept the grid and shut down the generator.
Okay, I think that answers the question now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. So I have Mr. Ahmed raising hands. Please, you can come up with your question now, sir.
Yeah, well done, engineer. This is Engineer Ahmed on the line. I want to firstly appreciate the engineer for the didactic way of responding to the questions, and I'm sure some of us learners and experts have learned one or two things the way he has answered. In a brief addition to the last question, I think it is about design, the electrical wiring of the gen, the electricity, or the grid before it now comes to the inverter. I think that is also important for whoever is installing or designing for the installation. So having said that, my question will stem out from, I think, the last session or the last 2 sessions we had, where an issue was raised about the noise, the noise that is being generated by some of your brands. I don't know if this brand takes care of the noise. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, that is this brand, not like the operation noise whenever it's functioning, the sound. Sometimes it has a level of sound that is tolerable that inverters should give. I don't know if this brand is not that giving much noise. I think that's just my own concern deploying this, bring forward to deploy this inverter. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. On the design, just like you added to it, yes, that's true. Because in some houses now, you have their changeover already in place. So what is coming in is into the grid input is either gen or grid. But for this inverter now, if you really want to design, integrate it with the house system, that okay, grid should come to the input, generator to take its own, and all the inputs will come, then you can as well do that with the inverter, and then it will function. So, and you can decide to just use only grid, which is national grid, as so whichever way. Once it sees signal there and you program the parameters well, it will do what you ask the inverter to do. But in terms of the noise, these are power equipments, I know that there could be level of noise from different brands and model and all. Why we have some inverters that don't even have fan. There are some inverters like that, they don't even have fan. They just, they are dependent on the quality and ingress protection. So this has, we can see on the body that is having 4 fans, meaning that when you is doing a lot of work, the fans definitely will roll, and there's no way the fan will roll and not make a noise. It's just that it varies. So what somebody will say is a noise may not be that noisy to another person. For an inverter to have these 4 fans, I can assure you that when they are rolling, when it's generating and it's charging heavily in the afternoon, you will hear the sound. So how much or how high is it now? I can't really say that, but I know that they are controlled such that if it's not doing anything, the fan, you may not even hear anything. If it's not doing much work, maybe you just put maybe 5,000 watt load on it, you may not hear anything. So they are, because of this, people will know how to, where they want to put it, how to do the installation properly. Some people don't, even the smallest inverter that has a small fan, like UPS, people will tell you, I don't want it in my room. So it depends on. So this kind of thing, if you want to put a lot of them and like 6, definitely each of them will produce sound and it could be loud. Because it is now working. So for that reason, if the installation is going to be big, then it's advisable to let them be in their own apartments, like the power room, where they will operate and the noise will not disturb anybody. But it's important to know that definitely when they roll, when they do their cooling effect and everything, they make a noise. Yeah.
I hope
Thank
that
you.
has answered your question, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you very much, Engineer Kunle. As we are running against time, Mr. Ndos Solar, please, let's have your question.
Good morning. Engineer Ahmed, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. You are doing a great job, and you guys are there in Genesis Technology. My name is Dozie. I'm the Managing Director of Endos Solar. Please, I want to make an appeal. Mine is not a question to say. When I saw Luxpower in your sites, I said, wow, Genesis is really stepping up the game, getting us a global brand like this, because what we do is we do a lot of research on products. If I tell you I have spent close to 200 and something thousand in doing research and development on product like this product is a global brand and it's a very massive product. There is an appeal I want to make to Genesis Technology. You can't be selling a global brand like this and you are giving us 18 months warranty. This product is in line with SRNE and the rest of them, where we get more than 2 years warranty. In fact, I'm even preparing to come and buy this product and do a job at Ekiti State for a customer, because when I saw this product, I said, wow, this is exactly what we are looking for and exactly what this customer will need for his apartment. Now, coming to hear that you are giving me 18 months warranty for a massive product like this, not just this, I'm peeling on all other products you have, like your growers and the rest of them. These are global brands and they are international standard. You can't be giving us 18 months warranty. Other dealers or companies that bring in this product into Nigeria, they do minimum of 2 years. I see no reason why Genesis will be giving us 18 months warranty on a global brand and a massive product like this. You should please look into that your warranty period and see what you can do about it and try and step it up for us, please. It's just an appeal, but everything about this product, I've done my research, is good to go for me. In fact, very soon you'll see me in your office picking this product by God's grace. And thank you for what you guys do there, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Ndos Solar. We really appreciate that. So we've taken this as a feedback from you. and you get to hear from us on that. And actually, they have something to add to it.
It's okay.
Thank you very much, sir. So I have Mr. QCOM BTD. Please, can we have your question, sir? QCOM BTD. No, okay, I'm not sure he's still here with us. So for questions on chat section, please hold on while we attend to this. Once we are done with this last question, we'll be able to respond to your chat questions. So we have Mr. Kelvin Chidera. Please, question from you. You can ask your question now.
Hello, yeah, good morning, everyone. My question is regards the inverter starting and stopping the gen. Which mechanism does it use to start and stop the gen? Does it have a cable being connected to the gen module? How does it start and stop the gen? So can you throw more insights on that? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. The inverter has dry contacts, which functions based on the instruction from the parameter setting. So it's an automatic switch that's on the body of the inverter itself. So you connect your startup cable of the generator to that port. So all other functions, whether it's going to sense low battery and the switch will come up, it's going to do this, that's within the inverter itself and all other inputs. But that command will be sent through the ports, through the dry contact to the generator. So your generator must be the type that can take such command to start up. That's it. Like a remote startup generator, you know, some people use a remote, some people use just switch, some people wire a switch up to their room upstairs or where you press the button and the generator will start. So something like that. But there's a contact on the inverter where you terminate this cable to make this function happen.
Okay, that's good. I think I get it now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So I'm going to take the last two questions from our chat section because we don't have time any longer. Other questions can be directed to, we have our customer care line at that's the number on the screen presently. That's 02012934490. And as well, you can reach out to us via our website, www.genestechnologies.com. For products prices, all our products generally, you can click on type shop.genestechnologies.com. You're going to see all our products there. You see the prices of all our products on our eShop. So for the question I have here, I come across an inverter with heat sink to it being generated by the inverter, and it's efficient and noiseless. Do you have such products? What can you say about that heat sink, sir? Engineer Clay, sir.
Okay, thank you. Like I mentioned, there are various ways to cool temperature of electronics when they are working. So because the inverters, they are power electronics. So it's either through fans or natural air, which is like the one the person is describing now, will have bulky aluminum, which is as heat sink. It's going to be big because they are not using fan. And at times, for such equipment, you may see all over the body, maybe at the back. That's what they will use for as heat sink. So it will be eaten up, but there's no fan there to cool anything. It's just the aluminum will absorb the heat from the components and pass it out. And it's completely noiseless. Does nothing rolling. Yes, we don't have that. We have, although we have some product like that for now, and then we have one that is similar to that, which is the 15 kilowatt Genex branded. Is having heat sink, and the fans are outside. The ingress protection is about 65. So because this has to do with the protection level of those inverters. So such inverter, now you look at it, may be like 65, 60 something for the ingress protection. So they are not the same cost. And then they are designed for conditions like maybe breathe with water, environment that is cold, environment that is dusty, like that, because they are completely sealed. So they don't want fan to be the one that we make to create space or to speed up water or dust into the inverter, because water and dust, they are enemies of components. So that's why they seal them up. As a result, they now compensate them with big heatsink. They are good product as well. But what we have is what I've described in terms of that. So we can get more of that, more products are still coming. And once we have something like that, exactly, we'll let you know.
Thank you, Engineer Kunle. So I have Total Logic Technologies. He has been raising his hand. We'll take this as the last question, then we close the webinar session for today. So Total Logic, sir, we can have you now. Let's have you, please.
Actually, good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Yeah, the question is that, does it mean when the inverter shut down the generator, is it applicable to grid as well, so that it will not continue exhausting the credits from the disco power? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, for all this inverter, the priority number one is the solar by manufacturer. So it's you now that will now program that, okay, this priority number one, this is the way I want it to work in relation to other inputs. You may decide that it's grid that I want to come in at so time, on what whether solar is available or not. So if you decide that, you put it in the program. Whatever you say do is what you do. But naturally, many people won't do that. I can't have my solar panels up there and I'm generating enough and grid will come and then I'll still be using the grid. No. So solar as priority will power your load and charge the battery effectively. But if solar is now coming down and grid is available, then if you program that, it should take the grid as a support at a particular time, maybe when the battery level is at so, it should just support to charge, or it should not even charge your battery. It should just power load. It depends on because you can program this in that, okay, when my battery is going down, solar is going down. You know, when solar is going down, it will be going down with the battery because they are together. It's still DC. When solar is on, the energy is taken from the battery. It's charging the battery. So everything will be going down. Solar will first come down to the level where it will now start to take from the battery. When it starts taking from the battery, that means the solar is not capable of powering the load. When that happens, the battery too will be going down. So you can now give instruction to the inverter that, okay, when the battery gets to so point, please allow grids to come in. But the grid that is coming in, don't use it to charge my battery. Only use it to power the load. Let the remaining solar that is available continue to charge. So you can do all this. And if grid is available and you still don't want to use grid because it's coming down, you want to use your generator at that time. Oh, I'm paying expensively for this. No, let me just, as my battery is going down, please start up generator for me and let the generator run for so time or so. It will do that.
All right, sir. Does that mean that it has the software to interface with the system, or all those buttons on the inverter can do all those programming?
Yeah, it's normal. You know, when the buttons are there to go into the programming inside the inverter, like program 1, program 2, program 3, program. So all the programs are stated. A particular program will handle a section. Like, okay, when the battery is coming down, when it gets to this, you take charge. Okay, when the battery is fully charged, you do this. So if they put on there that, okay, when the battery level is at so please start generator, and you did not put it there that you should start the generator, you don't do it. So if you put it there that when the battery is at so please start generator, it will do just that. So whatever you put in all those settings is just the way it's going to behave.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
you very much, Engineer Kunle, for this wonderful knowledge you have imparted today. Thank you very much. And I hope we've all learned 1 or 2 from this 12 kilowatt inverter Luxpower. So we'll be calling this a day. Thank you for joining. We really appreciate each and every one of you. And this is going to still happen next month. We look forward to seeing you join the session. Don't forget to shop with us using the link on the screen. You can also visit our website as well, and you can contact the phone number on your screen. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thank you for putting this together. God bless you.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Engineer Kunle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.